So we are recording. Yay! Finally, it took us quite some time to set things up. Hey, um,
Hi.
hi, um, Dr. Anna, please, welcome. Do you
Thank
want
you.
to briefly introduce yourself? And afterwards, I will start about the context and everything.
Sure. So, well, my name, people know me by Anna, my short name, but my full name is Anna Jansi. I come from Costa Rica initially, but I have been living in Europe now for 10 years already, now in the Netherlands. I have a background in nutrition, and I did my bachelor in nutrition in Costa Rica. Then I did a master in physiology and a double PhD in neuroscience and metabolism. That was actually the main reason why I moved here to Europe. Well, I love everything about nutrition, the human body, and try to make people healthier. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. Yeah.
Yay! For context, we already met two times, right?
Yeah.
And we connected instantly. We live life and see life through similar views, and we have similar values and so on. And
Yes.
um, we decided to go through an experiment because you are coming from academia and know how.
Oh, yeah. I didn't mention that, but yes.
Yes, let me add that.
Yeah, please.
And so we decided to embark on an experiment together to go through a journey of discovery and building your expert image and strategy and everything that comes into this beautiful new chapter in your life.
Yeah.
um and yeah, this is what we are doing right now. I'm trying to relax. um it's I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited to go and discover on this uncharted territory, because in your journey it's an uncharted territory, and you have, in my opinion, everything that is actually the ideal collaboration for me. So you are already an expert who achieved mastery in your field, and from our conversations, you feel the pull towards a mission that is greater than yourself. So for
Yeah.
me, these are the two ingredients that, if you got them, let's talk. So before we will start working in our session, so it's going to be around 8. If
Hmm.
we need more, of course, we will add more, but it's going to be around 8. Today, we are going to go through the fundamentals, and most importantly, today is about the mindset will happen after the presentation that I got for you, the step by step.
Yeah.
Because how I'm working is completely different than what the mainstream advice suggests. So that's why we need to look, because the journey is very unique from mastery to legacy. It hasn't been mapped. So mastery to meaningful impact, it hasn't been mapped until now, and that's why we need to analyze things differently and see through data and through everything that I gather here for you, that the journey that I will guide you through makes sense. Good. Ready.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it too.
Okay. Let's jump into here we are. So I call it the Mastery to Legacy blueprint, mindset, framework. It's not a framework, it's a mindset shift. So let's see. Okay, this jumped here. Okay. So let's start from where we are right now. And I I know we've discussed this, but I will step a little bit back and look at the challenges that all experts I've seen face in the current landscape. And they say things like every time I feel like I've caught up, there's another trend, another tool I have to master. I have all this knowledge, but I'm not seeing the impact I want. I'm great at what I do, but I struggle to monetize my knowledge. I work I'm working harder but feeling less fulfilled. I'm constantly creating content, running my business and engaging with my audience. I'm exhausted. I know I can make a difference, but I'm not sure how to take what I do to the next level, and so on and so forth. There are many challenges. I've gathered so many. I've let put here just a few that are repeating over and over and over. And this, I've analyzed the challenges and the root causes, and I found a pattern. I found root cause for everything that's happening, and I call it the 3 year spiral. And the 3 year spiral, we need to understand something that the individuals who go and start something by themselves or a project inside an organization that have the entrepreneurial spirit to lead are like 0.36% start a new business each month. So there is a very this kind of individual is quite scarce.
Yes.
The reasons why they start a business, that why someone wants to start a business or do something meaningful, is these are the data. 74% want to build great wealth and a higher income, and 71% have a desire to make a difference in the world, according to Global Entrepreneurship Monitor. So we have these two reasons why this small group of individuals go want to do more than what they are currently doing. Out of this small audience, small 18% have a master's degree and 4% have a doctorate degree of entrepreneurs that have a business. Okay? Entrepreneurship is not an expert game so far. So people who start a business are not predominantly experts. This means that mainstream advice, which is mainstream, the
Yeah.
idea is to pull in as many people as possible, are not focused on experts. And they bring this kind of advices. Find your niche. Ask your
Yes.
clients what they want and just give it to them. Build a personal brand. Create a podcast. Package your services. Speak at conferences. Give more value on social media, aka build thought leadership content. And the results? These are the results for all the businesses in general. 21% startups fail first year, 32 second year, 39 3 years, 50% 5 years, and 66 in 10 years. So there is something really not aligned in this whole mainstream.
There's something that clearly is not working.
Clearly is not working.
And if I had €1 for every single time I have heard all those advices, I would be already rich.
Exactly, exactly. So we have here. I love this guy. Alex Hormozzi is
Hmm.
doing amazing work, and and I love that he's sharing the work, his experience, and he's going in depth in how to build businesses and so on. But he's saying very clearly that the majority of people reach this stage and quit, and they come back and start again. Reach this stage, quit, and then come back and start again. So 95% of people, they are in this bubble of always experimenting and always a beginner. So of course, if you want to capture market share, this is the audience you're targeting with your programs, with your advices, with your posts on social media, and so on. Very few, 5% of people, they move on. And the experts' results on the individual level: overwhelm and confusion, bombarded with many option opportunities, leaving scattered and unfocused, diminished return on investment, invest significant time and money on activities that don't truly serve you or are at the wrong time. Communication barriers, struggle to clearly articulate your vision to others despite your deep expertise, struggle to be heard. That's why on LinkedIn, when I created a statistic, what do you want me to help you with? Stand out as a thought leader in a sea of noise. And they were like, yes, please, we want to stand out. We want to stand out. Um, Mainstream advice is do more, create more content, create more value, share more value, more, be louder, louder, louder. Pressure to be louder and produce endless content just to exist, forced into boxes, you find yourself wearing a professional mask that doesn't align with who you truly are. This is where
Hmm.
what happens when you go into the frameworks that others have created. I want to emphasize frameworks that do work in certain scenarios for certain individuals that are at a certain point in time, that come with a context and knowledge and so on. So they work. I'm not saying they don't work, but for the majority of experts, especially experts who come from time spent in deep expertise like you are from academia. So your expertise, I haven't found some place where there is good guidance for you to not be in those 66% in 10 years time.
Yes, I agree. No, like I told you, in the past months I experienced with another coach, and somebody quite famous on the internet, and because I thought like, oh, he has had so much success and have guided so many people. And when we had these group sessions, I found that, yeah, well, he was guiding everybody, but people were at the stage where they're trying to find their niche or trying to find what they wanted to do, which was not my case because I already knew what I wanted to do. So definitely, the way that he was guiding me, it didn't apply to me at all.
Right, right, because they were at the beginning. That
Yeah.
bubble, that 3 year spiral. So, good news, it's not your fault. Okay, it's not your fault. Because Anna, I believe you are lucky, and I have also other clients who were lucky for us to have this conversation from the beginning, before before 3 years, 5 years. Others, I have met other clients which have spent 20 years going in this 3 year. Let's have another go. Let's have another try. So the results of trying to apply strategies that aren't designed for two experts. Most marketing advice today is trapped in what I call the 3-year spiral, advice created by and for a generation of perpetual beginners and short term thinkers. They learn a skill for a few months, immediately start teaching it, and focus on quick monetization through aggressive tactics that create noise, not impact. There is another way, and I want to invite you to consider a different path, one that my clients take with me, a path that begins with clarity and foundation. So here we are. This is my mission, by the way. 5 years ago, I started getting really, really. I've worked with experts my whole life. I've been surrounded by experts. And so there is a moment in time when you kind of like, I want that too, you know? I want to
Mm-hmm.
impact the world meaning in a meaningful way. And I want to do that practically, not only conceptually. Just talk about it because I've built that with them and I wanted that for myself. So I found my mission, and that is to discover, nurture, and equip thought leaders to build a life and legacy that becomes their masterpiece. And basically, you will see through the conversation that I'm using exactly on myself the same framework that I am teaching. So in time, I'm actually building my legacy too. So my focus is actually on this, the ones that are very, very focused on this part and that lead with this part. Because the work that we are doing brings great wealth and high income and everything. But the difference is that leading, the ones who lead with this, they they get to have longevity. And that's why the concept of lasting impact. The ones that focus on this, on great wealth from the beginning, that's their focus. They can get to this, but the tactics, the strategies, the mindset is short-term thinking, and then the sustainability of the journey is short. So there are 1,590,000 thought leaders declared. So not experts, declared. And until now, there is no, I mean, okay, I want to become a thought leader. How do I do that? How how do I do that? There are a very few, like three in the world that I'm following that have some kind of foundation about that, but in my opinion, they need an upgrade because the times are changing very fast. I hope, like, I have learned from them, and they've been the shoulder of giants on which I am standing. But the world is changing very fast, so we need an upgrade to everything. So I spent the last 5 years searching for a map of how, like, let's draw a map so that others can find their way. So you have mastered your craft. You want to make an impact. Where do you turn? There is no clear pathway from expertise to through to sorry to true thought leadership. I found pieces of the map, so it was not accidental, but I haven't started my career with this mission and understanding that this is what I want to do. Now it started for me 5 years ago when many pieces came together through research, continuous learning, but the most came through working with my thought leaders days, every day. Like I have thousands of hours working with them side by side from the vision, from the first idea, whispered idea, like, what do you think if we would build that? And I was like, whoa, I love it. Let's find a way to build it. So it came from the work that I did with them, and it took us months, with some years to build it, but right now they are building their legacy and they are building impact, and they are changing their industries altogether. So to understand, we need to go and define and bring some definition to the whole concepts that we are talking about. So I'll take you through really fast for you to understand the context, so you start to have a filter of the advice that is out there that suits you, and that and why another advice is not appropriate. So we have currently four types of, let's say, brands: influencer, personal brand, expert brand, and thought leader. And they are, so this is something, it's not mine. I found it on the internet. I will put the source. The more in followers you have and visibility, the more influence they say you have. And that's why it's very confusing out there. Do you want to become an influencer? Wait a minute. Now there is a school for influencer, how to become an influencer, how to do things as an influencer, which is very different from a thought leader that leads with innovation expertise over time, that has gained this authority over time. So it's four different kind of individuals and journeys. From my perspective, right now there is this huge buzz: build your personal brand. Without a personal brand, you don't exist, and people trust and connect with people. And Richard Branson, he has more followers than Virgin, and all of these things. I believe everyone has a personal brand, if you build it with intention or not. But this, a personal brand is totally different than a thought leader brand, than an expert or an influencer. So let's go through them, just through the main ones that I see the most. I see experts confuse these two the most. So I want to influence my industry, and so I go and ask for how to become influencer, and they go on a journey that doesn't help them. So an influencer, the drive is on fame, admiration, followers, and inspiration. A thought leader's drive is on innovation, transformation, disruption, and advancement of their industry. The activities of an influencer: pulls revenue from ads, creates what followers want, regurgitates content that works, inspires, and motivates. A thought leader's activities: obsessed with improving what is not working, working on researching, testing, and communicating about the solution. How an influencer measures success: in the numbers of followers. That's why influencer will do everything to have followers. And I've seen, unfortunately, on LinkedIn, experts that tell thought leaders, I will make you a thought leader, and actually what they are the solution they are giving them is the number of followers. So it's a tactic that is not creating thought leaders if you buy followers. Okay, so, and they are pulling revenue from ads. For a thought leader, they measure success by the ideas that are transformed into actions. Transformation is happening on a large scale, and contribution is towards progress. This is how a thought leader measures progress. And we see that this shift has also happened on the TED platform. A few months ago, they had this tagline: ideas worth sharing. And they changed their tagline to ideas that inspire change, or something like that. So ideas that are actionable, ideas that bring progress, ideas that others or the thought leader themselves are working towards implementing, so that you can see real change in the industry. So this is how thought leaders measure success. Now, when you look at this framework, I was like, okay, so it's very easy to go from influencer to be a thought leader, for from a personal brand to be a thought leader. It's just a small jump. Like here is some a square, a diagonal in a square. Actually, this is the reality. If you have followers, you cannot gain. You need time. Okay, you need time and depth in your industry to reach a thought leadership status. So, thought leadership, yeah. So the fastest path and the path that I am an expert on is this one. To go. That's why at the beginning I said, Anna, you're exactly the expert I am working with, because you have reached mastery, and you want to build, you want to leave an impact, you want to do something impactful with the knowledge you have gained, with the wisdom you have gained. So the fastest path is from expert to thought leader, and there is a sign. I call it the higher purpose calling. And that's why I believe from the bottom of my heart that 71% of the people who answered that statistic desire to make a difference in the world. They have received somewhere the higher purpose calling, which is happening. Remember this, it looks very similar with the entrepreneur journey. They start and then go and they hear and they start again and they drop and they up this the spiral, the 3-year spiral. Experts who reach mastery, this is from Seth Godin's book, The Deep. I read the book when I wanted to quit my career. I was maybe 7 years into my career, and I didn't want to be part of it anymore. And I was here. I analyzed it. I was here, and he told me, like, it's a bad time to quit. Just go for mastery. So I went for mastery. I said, okay, then I'll go for mastery, and then when I reached mastery, I realized I reached mastery. I was like, okay, what's next? And that is when the questions came and the higher purpose came, and that happened 5 years ago. So and I've seen that pattern in other experts. There is a point where this higher purpose calling comes into you in the shape of, wait a minute, this is not working in my industry, and I think we can solve it by doing this, and this is true. I've applied that. I have the knowledge. I could change that. So that is what I call a higher purpose calling, and this is something I want to emphasize a little bit, because in, again, mainstream, find your purpose, find your ikigai. When I reached mastery, I was like, I found my ikigai several times in the fields that I worked with in before, but I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled. I found the ikigai. On paper, I had the ikigai. I had the purpose, but I wasn't fulfilled. So this is where things make sense. Again, everyone has a purpose. Everyone fulfills their purpose every single day. My grandmother, who took me and cared for me and took me to school every day, even though she wasn't famous or something, she was living her purpose every day, and she fulfilled her purpose every day. So I believe that we all have a purpose and we fulfill it, but a higher purpose is a calling that goes beyond ourselves, beyond our personal gains, beyond everything. It's about changing what doesn't work, and affects many people. I don't want to say millions, but many people. So this calling comes to thought leaders, in my opinion, and it's an invitation. It's not a default, like the purpose we have here. Here, this purpose is by default. Everyone has it. But the higher purpose is an invitation. And the thought leader can take the invitation and understand that this is why they've been preparing for everything. or they can look at it and say it's too much for me. I just prefer to not go in that direction. And many actually, if they decide to go the other way, they kind of change industries altogether. They just like, this is too much. This is too heavy lifting. They go and start teaching meditation or whatever, something else. I've seen this happening, and it's actually, there is data that this is happening for centuries in humanity. So it's a behavior that has been. So they find their mission, and the mission is actually the difference that they want to see in the world. This is the mission, and they find that. So to define a thought leader for me, and I would say this is an upgrade for the definitions that are online, a thought leader is a pathfinder who uses their deep expertise to solve big problems, driven by a higher purpose, their mission. They are original, thought provoking, and influential thinkers who create new insights and make lasting impacts, aka the legacy. In simple terms, I define them as the shoulder of giants whose work has transformed the world we live in. They are authors, visionaries, changemakers, entrepreneurs, and experts who drive humanity forward. Basically, we are here where we are because we are standing on the work of these giants who dared to push further and embrace their calling to do something that hasn't been done before, standing on others before them who had the same courage to follow their higher purpose, the calling. So, this is a reminder of going from here to here. And I want to go through why these two are different and how a thought leader thinks. Actually, I would say that a thought leader, when considering everything that we discussed, they don't have a job. It's not a job to be a thought leader. I look at it as a lifestyle. The way you take decisions, the way you are motivated to wake up in the morning, the way you see the world, the way you take action and implement. For me, it's a lifestyle. So that's why I took and I made a comparison between an expert lifestyle and the thought leader lifestyle. So the expert who has reached mastery, until then he has been used to problem solver, trend spotter, and being reactive. A thought leader is a solution builder, trend setter, and is proactive. The expert is valued for doing. The thought leader is valued for thinking and leading. The expert is known for their knowledge and skills. The thought leader is known for their innovative ideas, insights, and foresight, so they can predict the future, so to say, because they are building for the future. Legacy, you need to see the future or see possibilities of futures that and be prepared for them. An expert looks for what has worked for others. A thought leader looks at the present, analyzes the past, documents insights based on experience, and builds for the future. Expert hones one or several skills according to their area of expertise. A thought leader has a Renaissance approach to follow their curiosity and connect the dots from different unrelated areas. An expert provides expert testimony or advice in their field. A thought leader inspires and influences even beyond their specific area of expertise. That's why the legacy can impact other industries without the thought leader even architecting that. And we can see many, many examples. An expert shares the work of others. A thought leader generates original ideas based on expertise, develops methodologies, and constructs frameworks to contribute to the ongoing evolution of their industry. An expert builds personal wealth, while a thought leader builds collective wealth. An expert, and we are going to talk about that, an expert wants to retire as fast as possible. A thought leader doesn't conceive retirement being absorbed in working on his or on her or his mission. An expert works to raise their lifestyle. A thought leader works to build their legacy. So
I
that's
love
why
this.
I this is recorded and I'm going to share. You can print screen, and it's a different world, I believe.
Yes. It's the very first time that like somebody has put into words the way that I feel. I always discuss this with my husband because we always, both of us, say that we don't conceive the idea of retiring. People, sometimes we hear people the same age as us like, oh, in 25 years we're gonna retire, or we're trying this, this fire movement that is all over the internet of financial independence, retire early because they just want to quit whatever they're doing. And I don't conceive that. Like I didn't get to this point and study so many years and try to have a mission just to retire. What's the point of it? Then what I'm going to do after? So I love that you put it like that, because it's actually the very first time that I found somewhere that one of my traits is not conceiving, not retiring, just discover new things. And also the renaissance just as whenever you do something, or at least that was my experience, that what 12 years that I was in academia, whenever you were dedicated your time to something outside what you were supposed to be studying, whether it's your topic or something that is not scientific or something like that, is like you were frowned upon, like you were wasting your time. And I always had this thing, like, I have multiple interests, and I believe that as human beings, we can put everything together, connect all the dots. So I really, really love the framework. I need a print screen of that later, or you can just send me the image so I get the like better quality. But I love it.
You mentioned two very, very important aspects right now that so many people want to retire. Actually, this is exactly the reason for that is that the advice, you remember the 78%, I believe, or 75, are driven to build wealth. They go into
Mhm.
business to build wealth, and they are taught to just, if you don't like it, the market needs it, you want to make money, just go with it. So that's why they want to retire, because they don't feel fulfilled. And we see more and more of this kind of founders who've built something, they hated their life, they made a lot of
Mhm.
money, a lot, and they were miserable every single day of their life, and they suffered for that money, and afterwards they, you see them like completely changed, and they are going, trying again, going for something that is meaningful for them. And that is why they want to retire, make money so you can retire, so you can do whatever you want. That's the actually, if you look at marketing
Yes.
messages, retire, so build this, do all of this, so you can retire and do whatever you want. Wait a minute, for thought leaders, I'm doing whatever I want if I
Oh,
build my
yes.
mission because it fulfills me. It's that's why I call it a lifestyle, because the
Well, in
lifestyle.
the long term, sorry, in
Yes.
the long term, it's people that actually are miserable during years, and then they want to retire early or try to retire early because they just trying to make money to make that happen in the best case scenario. But I will say that also people that fall into burnout are following exactly the same pattern. And that happened to me as well, like before starting now with with all this process. I started in July, no, June last year. So it's less than a year. It's just like what, 8 months so far. I spent 2 years recovering from burnout because I was not aligned with what I wanted to do. So, and you hear so many people now into burnout, and this is not because they are tired. It's because what they are doing is not aligned with their values. So you're doing something that you hate. So of course you're gonna be burnout because this is not what you're meant to do.
Yes,
So
exactly. Wow. Right. So influencer. The idea of this graphic, I love this graphic, I created, of course, is that if you want a statue, go for thought leadership. I love this concept. I was walking through a city, and I saw these statues, and I was, of course, I was thinking about thought leadership and legacy and all of that, and this is so interesting because not everyone receives a statue. You need to do something meaningful to have a statue, and she's actually the first woman who flew over, I think, over the Atlantic. I loved her statue. She's so empowering and so confident, and yeah, thought leaders get statues, influencers less, because their impact is short term. Influencers, if they don't do those activities that every day, they are losing people, and it's always a race. It's always a struggle. Personal brand also doesn't have longevity, but a thought leader does. Now, I want to go deeper because when I looked at this, I was like, okay, let's see the journey in depth. Like, how do I get a statue? How do I get to have a statue? Um, and I looked at frameworks, many frameworks, um, to help me again build on the wisdom that others had before me, that others have built already before me. Frameworks that have been proven. The longer a framework or a methodology lasts, and the more use it has, the stronger it is. So it proves that it works, and it proves that it brings progress. So one of the not one, I found the hero's journey, and I found something so interesting and ironic in the same time. So I looked at I knew the hero's journey before. I don't know if you are familiar with the hero's journey. It's in marketing, like, your client has a problem, it finds a guide, and then you show them the path, and then, it's used in marketing a lot. And I knew this before. I in branding, I used to use it, and it made sense. But when I started I wanted to build the journey, because it made sense. Some part of it made sense for the thought leader journey, but the other part didn't too much. And looking at the experience of my experts and many other experts I talked with, it wasn't working. So it wasn't a good framework. But then I went deeper in search, and actually the true hero journey, I mean the framework that the author has in his book, is totally different than the one that you find on the internet everywhere, including Wikipedia. So what happened, I looked at the story, and this is actually a framework to create Disney princess movies. So in Disney princess movies, after the struggle, the prince rescues the princess, and they live happily ever after. Okay, not in current times. There is a slightly change in the prince and the princess. The princess rescues herself.
Thankfully.
Yeah. And after she has learned her lesson, she returns home, and everything happy end. But in real life, things don't go that way. And actually, in his book, and I want to take you through this, Campbell has done a lot of research. I mean, he cites around 190 books and thousands of articles of patterns of archetypes, the heroes' archetypes, since Greek times. He analyzed a journey that a person goes through, and he uncovered 17 steps. And I, like, when I thought wouldn't find the framework. I found the um, this sketch in his book, and I was like, how ironic is this? Um, I found the deeper value that was hidden in plain sight because the current circumstances has encouraged us to just see the surface level of something. And what I mean by that is his work is very hard to read. The book is very hard to read. Everyone was quoting his book, but nobody read it. And everyone was drawing circles without understanding or even seeing his real circle in the book. And everyone was teaching based on a fairy tale journey how to communicate with your client, how the client journey, like what the journey of your client in life and in business. Everyone was teaching that. There are consultants who are teaching the hero's journey in business. This is how your client goes. So everything was built on superficiality, on regurgitated content that someone made, on a real work, on depth that Campbell documented in his book that was hard to read, that was not available. And I find this ironic because the experts that I work with have this huge challenge to communicate their depth in a way that can be adopted by masses. That's why Campbell's book did not wasn't adopted. Actually, he was only read in academic environments, like in film schools and all, and in universities. Up until an executive from Hollywood, from Disney, created a 2-page of these are the steps, and I cut some steps out, and it was very easy to read, and it didn't have any depth or explanation, and that one spread, and everyone was building their businesses and their client's journey on that. But it wasn't realistic, and I've seen that with the clients I work with, and I will go take you through it step by step because a person. So I would say the expert. The expert is called to adventure. Call to adventure means a domain attracts you. It can be from childhood or it can be from university, and then is the refuser of the call. They are trying or not. A mentor comes away. This mentor and sparks an interest in them, and they are going and they are starting on their journey, going into depth into their field. Now, this is not only the depth in their field; it's the depth in themselves. So, with nutrition, because I know a little bit about your journey. We didn't go through it. I mean, I do not expect, and nobody should expect to know someone's journey in depth by sitting 1 hour with them and discussing. There is no way. That's why we have 8 sessions at least, but about
Yeah.
that later. So the call to adventure can be a challenge that you're facing and trying to solve it for yourself. I'll add just the top of the information in your case. And then you start reading about things and you start learning from different people who tried to solve that. And then you go into depth, you more and more and more. It's exactly like that mastery curve, you know? So you go into that, and then this point here is the point of the darkest times in thing. Here is darkness everywhere. So it's the depth of the journey. And here is actually at the darkest moment you have gathered everything that is the point of mastery. So the whole, if I would take this part, half of the journey is actually the path to mastery. And here is the higher purpose calling. Now, as I mentioned earlier, experts can refuse the calling because it's too hard um, to take on that challenge. Um,
By the way, I wanted to say something
yeah,
there with the example that you gave before. There's nothing wrong with teaching meditation, though,
sorry.
because you said earlier that
Ah,
no, you said earlier, yes, that a lot of people just quit the calling and just want to teach meditation. There's nothing wrong with that either.
right. It's not. It's not. Definitely not. But what I'm seeing is that this shift, they could, I'm seeing that I'm saying that by teaching meditation and giving up on everything that was here without taking that into the journey and integrating teaching meditation, that is what I feel is what we are losing in today's uh, world, because I've seen so many that experts that, for example, they worked in an industry, let's say real estate, and they found theta healing or any other spiritual path, and they just give up on everything. They turn their back and they go and teach that to different people instead of taking that knowledge and bringing it into their industry, because this life is not has not been spent for nothing, and we will get to that later. They are living half of their life on, let's say, they're closing the door and not looking back. So the point of going and becoming a master in your expertise, the point of why life has given you all the hardships, everything that you learned, all the motivation to first help yourself, then you helped others, then you saw a bigger impact, possibility of a bigger impact, is that the whole idea is that you've got to bring out again that which you went to recover, the unrealized, unutilized potential in yourself. The whole point of this journey is the reintroduction of this potential into the world. It goes without saying, this is very difficult. Bringing the boon back can be even more difficult than going down into your own depths in the first place. And that is Campbell's words. So, all the knowledge that because here you are a different person. You are not the person who started on the journey. You are a completely different person. And I believe this is my mission, to bring that individual back with all their knowledge and integrate them, their whole knowledge, their whole being into the world, so they can pass their wisdom into the context of the world that is right now, because this is what the world, I believe, needs. So going back, let me see, because I don't remember okay, I have some examples. I am disc with my locks. I'm an expert. I'm actually the expert that is here. It's a different kind of guide. So I said earlier, the refuser of the return. Campbell says that even the Buddha, when he reached enlightenment, he thought about refusing to bring it into the world. So this is the first step. The question or the point of decision. Okay, will I move forward with this or not? It's a very important step. Then the magic flight is, okay, now how do I get back? Sometimes and many times, and this is where I come in, experts, everything that brought you until this point is not going to take you further, because coming back, it's a different journey. You're not going back the same way you went in. So you need different skills, different mindsets. And this is where I come in and I say, okay, let's have this presentation and show you so you can have a better idea on what's up ahead, what's going on, everything, so that you are at least expecting, are mentally prepared for what this journey, if you decide to take it, will ask. So this work is still behind the scenes, quite behind the scenes, and it's something actually, I met Seb, which was exactly in your position. He reached mastery and he's like, I don't know what to do with my expertise. I don't like what I'm doing right now. It's not fulfilling. And then we integrated him and he became an athlete, a visionary. He started his business. He went to for Ironman and integrated that into his so nutrition and all of that. And he built Do Good Agency, um, using capitalism for the force of good, building a business for a force of good, and so on. And he's crushing it. Um, then I met the change maker, in that it's actually the thought leader with whom I spent the most time, because we went from point 13 to point 16, and that took us around 3.5, 4 years. Um,
Wow.
yeah, the change maker. So he was already 20 years into. He was also from academia. He was a vice president of a college in California. He was preaching to the for 20 years and he didn't see any traction. And he was wondering like, is it all worth it? Because he wanted to change the education system in the US. Like, what?
That's
Um,
hard.
yeah. And step by step, we we um we got him into alignment. I don't want to go into details, but the thing is that he grew exponentially, and then a year after I grew him, his impact as a thought leader, he came with the idea that revolutionized the U.S. education way of teaching the teachers, educating the educators, the institutions, and he came with this idea. I was telling you about, like, Ivana, what do you think about this? And I'm like, yes, let's go for it. Let's try. We launched in 6 months. No, less, 4 months. Just the two of us. And it launched as a six-figure, and it's growing and growing, impacting, I think, over 200 institutions. Thousands of educators are redefining, leading the change for in the education field. So, but we went through 4 stages. So we met here, and step by step we went into that point. And then I meet some established thought leaders who are already thought leaders. They are doing great, but they cannot innovate. So they cannot innovate in the sense that they have a crazy idea, like it's really crazy, out of the box. The whole industry rejects it. Like, their peers reject it, and they are like established. I mean, 30 years in the industry, and they have they come with solutions that are, so simple and straightforward and clear and everything. They are the genius idea, and people don't their colleagues first, they reject it. So this is what happened with Elizabeth. She was actually my first thought leader I worked with 9 years ago, I think. And she wanted to launch this book that was for voice experts, and she couldn't. She was rejected by every publishing house, and she had the entrepreneur spirit, and she raised money from friends, and she printed her own book, and I helped her launch it. And then a year after, the publishing houses were begging her to publish her book because it was so valuable, and she got to a whole different level. Uh, you don't see my screen anymore? Okay, it's back.
Now I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had this experience also with other experts who are very advanced. They are like, their reputation is huge. Everyone knows them. But when they come with a idea that is too future thinking, so they are pioneering something, the industry kicks back because the industry doesn't want change. It's not very adaptive to change. So I help them I help them go to the next step. So that's why I call myself the experts in this part of the journey. And there are the steps are in more detail, but my work is also at the beginning. I'm just 5 years into it. There's so much uncharted territory. I'm working on it. But let's talk a little bit about legacy, because this is the second piece that we need to understand. So let's talk a little bit about legacy, because legacy is such a interesting word. Everyone is living a legacy, but again, there is no map. It's like, okay, what do you have at the end of your life? Let's see, you have a house, some books written. That's your legacy. Ta-da! End of story. Thank you very much. This is not what the legacy I'm talking about. And I love this quote: all good men and women must take responsibility to create legacies that will take the next generation to a level we could only imagine. I'm inspired by the people from which I'm learning, because I cannot be the person I am today without all the books I have, all the courses that I've done, and those are legacies. I don't know why my screen disappears. Okay, those are legacies, and it's not that someone has written it or has worked on it uh, before they died. They have worked on it during their life. It was their mission. So let's move beyond traditional models of knowledge preservation to create what I call living legacies, a system of impact that grows stronger with time rather than diminishing. So, okay, it's thinking. So let's go a little bit to understand legacy. Legacy, the preservation model. Traditional legacy building focused primarily on preserving and passing down that was created. A career legacy in this model typically meant writing a book, creating training programs, mentoring, building institutions that would carry your name, documenting best practices. The limitation is that these legacies often begin losing relevance the moment they are created, and we want longevity means relevance in time. So we want to build that relevance in a world that is changing very fast. So that model for me is we need to look at it differently. So legacy 2.0, which is what is happening right now, actually. Digital transformation accelerated, new approach, personal brands and thought leadership, online platforms and communities, digital content, social media, speaking engagement and workshops. So what you have seen in the past, let's say 5 years. This model represents progress, creating more dynamic forms of impact. However, it still relies heavily on the expert's active presence and ongoing support effort. The moment the expert steps back, the impact often begins to fade. So what I'm proposing, and I'm jumping to Legacy 3.0, even though we are still in Legacy, there is not even Legacy 1.0, but I'm already building for what is happening right now, but very few people see it. So Legacy 3.0 is the living legacy concept. And unlike its predecessors, a living legacy is designed to grow stronger with time, even without the original expert's direct involvement. Think of it like planting a tree versus building a monument. A monument stands unchanged until time eventually wears it down. A tree, however, grows, produces seeds, creates an ecosystem, and potentially gives rise to an entire forest. So, huge change.
Yes.
Key characteristics: evolution by design. So, when we think about the legacy, and we'll see that through our work together, we look at it, okay, how can we build this so that it evolves in time? Evolution mechanism embedded in their DNA. From the beginning, we look at frameworks, or we look at how we are going to build this vehicle of expression of the legacy. in a way that, okay, does can it evolve through time? Can it compound effect? Each implementation or application adds to the system. So like all the things that we have learned so far that has helped humanity build forward. So we have used principles that have helped us understand also what's working and build on that, also what's not working. So um, the legacy, the living legacy that I'm talking about is a thing that evolves through time with the people that implement it. Self-sustaining communities, living legacies create and nurture communities. Uh, a legacy, again, coming back to the higher purpose, it's something that is beyond the thought leader, and the thought leader himself or herself that doesn't build a living legacy in silo. It builds with adopters and with other people who are taking that and working on it and taking it further. So that's why there are it's something organic that is created around living legacies, a self-sustaining community. Principle-based architecture, instead of rigid methodologies, living legacies are built on core principles that can be applied and adapted across different contexts and times. For you, for example, it's can will this be applied for busy entrepreneurs and moms, and so it can be because you are working on principles, not on uh, strict, this is what you do at 5 o'clock a.m. you wake up and you do. It's not, it's you. So we are on the same, it resonates.
Yes, yes, of course.
Okay. Generative value, they generate new insights and applications over time, often in ways the original expert never anticipated. This is the beauty of um, legacies that live through time. They adapt to context, they become kind of their own entities. They adapt to context, they remain true, but they expand into different industries, areas, and so on. Here is an example. Start with why is now this framework um, is spread through the business, the coaching. So Simon Sinek Start With Why has been used in business, has been used in personal development, has been used everywhere. It idea is that it created communities around it, and it created even consultants who are focused on doing this work with companies, which is something that is so beautiful because I have this saying, I don't think I wrote it. This living legacies helps someone earn a living based on your work. It gets to that point. And this is what brings its longevity. Because if other people can earn a living implementing your knowledge, your discoveries, your principles, that starts to have longevity. So we have this example. We have reinventing organizations. Frederic Laloux. It's a whole like it. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Um, we have positive intelligence. The Shirzad, who you will go through this test, by the way, who identified the saboteurs, and he has now certified coaches that coach business leaders and leaders of all kind to understand and go through working with themselves and their saboteurs. And we have a different kind of example. Sam Owens in school. I could not bring him up. And here is another. I mean, if I would ask Sam, I never talked to Sam, but I'm a big fan of school and his way of thinking. He wouldn't say that he's building a living legacy, but he has all the characteristics of a building of a living legacy. In this scenario, it's about a software that looks, it's just a platform, people would say, but it's actually a platform that created businesses, and it's creating thousands of new businesses just because of the platform. So longevity for school is built on principles, it's not built on frameworks. It's built on principle of simplicity. It's built on principle that everyone should have the possibility to start from zero and earn a good amount of money on their passions and on communities, on building, on bringing people together. So, in my opinion, this is a living legacy that Sam is building, and of course, my clients, because I love them, and they're building these beautiful legacies. So, Kevin with Catapult, and Elizabeth, that after which she, so after the moment where she saw that her book became such a good tool, and the feedback came back, and she started having all kinds of events. We went, and the events grew and so on. She was so encouraged that now she has revolutionized the way that education is about her subject is taught in for the subject. So she advanced. She went to a whole different level just because of that point. So um, so what is your living legacy, and how to find it? I was in where was I? Was I in Doha at Web Summit, and I was telling someone that I'm helping thought leaders build a legacy, and he was like, "Okay, what's my legacy?" And we should find out. I cannot tell you what your legacy is, but we can discover it together. And coming back through this again, here is, so based on this, I created a super simple framework, and you already kind of know about it because I told you, but you didn't see it in our conversations before. So this is the
Yes.
framework that we are going to go through in our 8-step journey. We are first going to talk about who you are right now, in the context that we are right now. Everything that you um, think right now, and because I want you to see the change and difference from step 1 to step 7. So, first session is going to be who you are right now. Then it's going to be who you started as, origin point. We are going to then map the transformation through life's lessons.
Wow, that's gonna be a long map, I bet.
Don't worry. I have exercises, and it's going to be beautiful. Absolutely. Like um, yeah, I'm not saying more, but the exercises that I gave, experts are still using that, and they are updating it in real time because it's so easy to do, and it's so intuitive, and it's beautiful. So I believe that your life is actually your biggest teacher.
Yes.
And we do not take it into consideration. We want to forget the challenge. We want to forget, wait a minute. That challenge came to me because of who I truly need to be. So I start on this journey. There is nobody, and everyone is saying this, but I believe we are going to understand it on paper. I'm sure we are going, how unique you are. You are going to understand how unique you are. And from that point, we will jump to what could your legacy be from this understanding of who you really are, taking into account the whole transformation you have been through in depth. We are going to jump and map out what legacy could be according to the principles that we talked about. Then we are going to talk about who you are meant to be. So do you need to be um, to have the capacity to have that legacy in reality? Because, and here, actually, I would say it's like, what's your who is your higher self? Let's define it. So my higher self does that, knows this. Um, they have done that, and so on and so forth, with the details connected. Then we will define your mission. Um, and I have this, the train. The train is you. You are the locomotive. The Yeah, this is how it's in English. So you are your purpose here, actually higher purpose, vision and values drive everything. And vehicles of expression is, for example, for me, my legacy, my living legacy is what we are doing right now. But it's not the only way I express my legacy. For example, another card for me is that I am teaching high school students about entrepreneurship, about how to start a business, about seeing the world from this perspective, building towards. So, having someone who is here in this step and understanding, okay, now you need to experiment. Now, mainstream advice kind of works for you. So, let me share with you the one that works because you're at the beginning right now. So, um, so I'm expressing my living legacy in different ways. And here we can have even platforms or books or courses or whatever. So other businesses that you can do, but it's still you who's driving in the same direction, going for the same legacy to have the same impact. So it's clear, it's your path. You are just developing, you could develop or not, different ways of expressing the same thing. In your case, for example, because we have a little conversation about that. To have the business with the that is for has a premium service, and to have another business that is serving people who, free, that is serving people free, an NGO maybe, or it's the same purpose, the same
Yes.
thing. But yeah, and the we have here this round thing, and this is the context in which the train is heading. So I always looked at this to understand that your audience is actually the people that want the same thing, that want the same results and vision that you have. Either how we connected. I want to know and have the understanding of how to function in my body healthy. This is my goal. That's why your vision attracted me so much. Your living legacy path is where I'm going to, but I'm going um, as a client, and you are
Hmm.
building the train, and it's so easy afterwards to communicate because you're just putting the sign. Hey, I'm going in this direction. This is who I am, and this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm building. And if you are going in the same direction, join me. Hop in the train. You will reach there faster.
Yeah.
So many things are super clear from this whole from the whole methodology. That's because for me this is the first step. I have understood. I worked with my clients. I worked with myself, and this has gathering data, because we are going to gather data, written data, so I can afterwards, because it happens, we decide something, we see that you are in a certain way, and then you kind of get a new idea that is not in according with you, but it's a shiny symptom, shiny object syndrome, that is not in
Yeah.
accordance, but it looks good. It's like, wait a minute, hey, this is what the data shows, and it's a very good reminder. This whole first step, because this is a first step actually, to have clarity on everything, is what answers everything afterwards. How to structure your business, how to communicate your business, how to create your brand, who is your audience. Everything falls so easily after you have this whole mapped out. That's why I created this as a first step, because even if you go afterwards and implement it yourself, you have all the data and it's the truth about you, about
Hmm.
the locomotive that is going to drive every single day forward. So,
So looking forward to all those steps.
sorry.
I'm so looking forward to all the steps.
Ah, me too. We are going to go into other tools, Notion, Miro. It's
Yes.
yeah, it's Disney World. um, I've come up um, with this simplified quote, just to wrap things up. Expert plus legacy, and afterwards brand. And when I say legacy, it means infrastructure of the whole road. Yeah, legacy is not only the idea, it's the whole, the locomotive and everything, the road, plus brand. So visibility, let's say, we could say influence, impact, uh, is what actually makes a thought leader. And the outcomes, what my clients experience: exponential growth, unfulfilled potential realized, rapid progress, because when everything is clear, then there are the decision making process becomes very clear. This is for me, this is not for me. It's super, super easy. Um, Brand elevation, of course, unique positioning. Of course, you are unique, and everyone tells you you are unique. Position yourself as unique. Find your uniqueness. You are a unique combination that if you integrate every unique aspect of you, that is your uniqueness. And when we have this whole map, this everything mapped, your unique position in differentiation becomes super clear. So there is no challenge in let me see how to position myself and how to be unique. Everything is clear. Product, business, thought leader, fit. Yes, this is very, very important. When you are aligned, when you are on your path, when you create the product you were meant to create, because you analyze through data, um, it's like energy. It's like there is no burnout. I have actually the challenge to stop, just to stop, and because you don't feel it, the energy pushes you so much, and you feel more alive, and that's why it's a lifestyle, and it's so fulfilling, and you can do much more because you are not facing the resistance in yourself. No, this is not
Hmm.
my path. This is not. No, everything is aligned, and everything flows, and opportunities come out of the blue because you're aligned, and you know that. I mean, not going into that, but yeah, awards and recognition, which are side effects, and of course published work. Kevin, actually, when I met him, he had two books written in 20 years. In 1 year, he wrote another two and launched that. And like the creative power, the creative energy is like, wow, amazing. So, but most important benefit out of everything is that you get to see in reality the difference in the world and in yourself, because this is something. Did I show you this before?
No.
This is what
Oh, yes.
this is what motivates me to
Yes.
push and push, because this is what hell I believe it is. And by understanding and by going through the whole methodology and understanding how is the person I am meant to be look like, and work towards that person, and build what that person has built. Um, it means that at any end that we are switching existences, You're not going to go through that. Nobody. I hope no one goes through this. So this is what pushes
Yeah.
me a lot to be here with you and to build everything that we build. And this is Mastery to Legacy. Make sense of your mastery and build a legacy that matters. Yay!
Wow. If I was looking forward to the whole process, now I'm even more. Now that you have described all the steps, I'm so looking forward to all the sessions that are coming.
Does it make sense? Of course,
Yes.
questions along the way will be, but is it clearer where we are going?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot clearer. I have to say that I'm amazed of how you have managed to to develop your program and to like separate it in all those steps is great. Because for me was I had an idea when we talked before the last couple of times of more or less what we were going to do, but I didn't imagine that it was so detailed and that you have managed to develop it so much in the past years. So it's great, and I'm actually looking forward to all the steps, and also looking forward to to knowing more about myself, because this has been I mean, like you put it there, there's a huge chunk that is your entire life because, like you said, it's your biggest teacher. But somehow, sometimes, like I completely agree with that part that you mentioned before. We kind of block certain challenges or certain periods of our life, and we forget that we go through that because of a reason. And there's something we need to learn, and sometimes we leave those lessons like packed somewhere there or like in the closet, and we need to unpack those things, take what we went through and the main lessons and integrate it to who we are right now to be able to get there to where we want to be. So yeah, I'm really really excited now, even more.
I'm super excited to discover you because I'm fascinated. I have such curiosity to discover the pieces that made you you, and that sparked everything you want to build. Something I you mentioned now, going into the past. Practically, I believe that here and the moment we met is, I hope it's going to be some of the last moments where we are reactive to our life.
Mhm.
Because I mentioned that our session before. I've seen everywhere like, be the captain of your life, design your own life. You cannot do that if you are reactive to life. So I believe the part from now until the legacy is built on understanding and integrating the part from your first moment of existence until now. That becomes the foundation, and then the pull, the learning, everything towards that. It's intentional, it's designed, it's it's you become the creator of your life, literally, on paper.
Yes, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
That for me, that's a real wealth, to have the freedom to design my own life and be able to use my life to create an impact in the world, like that's I'm among those 71%.
Yeah,
Of
so
course,
many.
I would not say, of course, like some income from what I do is nice as well, but my like I mentioned before, like the coach that I worked before was like, just change this will lead you to more revenue faster. It's like, that's not who I am. That doesn't go with my values or what I want to do. So I will not compromise who I am for more money. I just want to earn money with the thing that I would really really want to do to impact the world. So yeah.
I see this both earning and impact. Imagine two people in the car in the front. If you let the person, the impact person, drive, and the money in the as a co-pilot, that's what we are doing. They That person will take another road, but the money is coming. It's a side effect, and everyone who
Yeah.
has build living legacy says that do what is impact, money will follow. It's natural. It's the energy of money is going to come, and it's true. It's so true. So thank you so much. I know you have a meeting,
Yes.
and we'll see each other in our next session. Thank you so much for staying with me and for going through the journey, for letting me join you on your journey. Actually, this is what I want to thank you
Well,
for.
thank you for actually inviting me to take this journey with you. I'm looking forward to all the next steps.
Cool. See you.
Okay. See you. Bye.